Hello, this is Jim Stockstill, and I want to bring you a program from the program entitled The Handwriting on the Wall. I want to talk about the peace treaty. I want to talk about the peace treaty that we will be looking for, that we are looking for. And as we know that Donald Trump and his son-in-law just initiated a peace treaty with Israel and the United Arab Emirates and some other Arab countries, and we should be focused on it and understand it. And some of the Bible teachers are just going crazy. Some of the Jewish saying this is it, this is the main one. Then I've heard others contradict that and go the other way. But I want to tell you what we should be looking for. The greatest prophecy in the Bible is probably Daniel's 70-week prophecy. 70 weeks of years, or 490 years, and it's given in Daniel chapter 9, and it talks about like there will be 7 weeks, and then there will be 62 weeks, and then the Messiah will be cut off. And so theologians for centuries have well, actually, a guy that worked for Scotland Yard, a detective, figured this out. I can't think of who he is right now. Anderson, I think, his last name. And he figured it down that after 69 weeks, Messiah would be cut off, and it happened right when Christ was entered Jerusalem, a triumphant entry, and then he was crucified. And that cut off the 79 weeks. Well, there's 70 weeks, so it left 1 week. And so we've been waiting 2,000 years for this 1 week. And Bible scholars and prophets all agree on this. This is true. Daniel's 70 weeks. So we've had 483 weeks completed now. We're looking for that last 7 weeks. And when the peace treaty is actually signed, that will start the last week of 7 years. And if this was it, then we'd be on the countdown for 7 more years. I don't think this is it yet, because the prophecy in Daniel was given to Daniel by the archangel Gabriel. Now, all scripture is inspired by the Holy Spirit, but Gabriel is given a couple of prophecy. You know, he told Mary that she would have a child, and you know, he's accurate to the nth degree. And Gabriel gave this prophecy, and he said 70 weeks are determined to eliminate all sin. So we can see that it hasn't been completed, like some would say, because we still have a lot of sin, and finished instill righteousness, complete righteousness, and crown the prince. And you know, these 70 weeks are determined for this whole thing to be completed. So we've got 69 weeks under our belt. We're looking for the 7th week. Well, there is a prince who is to come, and he is the Antichrist, of what we say the Antichrist. He is the Antichrist, and he is to come. The people of the prince who was to come are the one that destroyed the temple in 70 A.D. And it said until then there would be desolations and wars, but then it goes. The whole topic is about the prince who is to come in Daniel. It says he will confirm a covenant. It didn't say he would write the covenant. It said he would confirm. And one teacher, I like this, he said confirm meant make stronger, make better. He would with many, he would confirm or make stronger the covenant with many. And then here's what happens. There will be a Jewish temple that will be built, and animal sacrifices will be happening during this time. So he makes a covenant, confirms a covenant. I'm sorry, it's confirmed a covenant. He doesn't make it, and then it gives leeway. There's an arrangement made where the Jewish people can start building the temple, and they have all the utensils for and all the furniture for the temple. Everything's all ready, and I think they even have the red heifer. Everything's ready. We're just waiting for the right moment. And there's been a lot of prophets have documented this. A lot of Bible teachers have documented that the temple is ready. So once the Prince who is to come, and we might even be looking for a guy who is entitled to, has a title of the Prince. Once he confirms the covenant, makes it stronger with many, then the Jewish people will build the temple. It won't take them long to build a temple. Maybe a year to build a temple. With the technology we have now, we can build quite a place in just a short period of time. So build the temple, and they're going to start animal sacrifices. Well, it says that this prince, after 3.5 years, he stands up and says, he stops the sacrificing of animals. And he causes oblation to stop, and then he sits in the temple and he says, I'm above everything that's God. I'm above God. I am God. So he says that. Well, that is the abomination of desolation that Jesus spoke about in Matthew 24, verse 15. He says, when you therefore see the abomination of desolation spoken about by the prophet Daniel, then let him who read understand. So we understand that this is the abomination of desolation. So he says, when you see that, Jesus says, if you're in Judea, get out of Judea. He says, if you're on the rooftop, don't come down and get your coat. If you're in the field, don't come back and get your coat. He says, pray that your flight be not in winter, or that you're not with child during that time. So because he says there'll be such tribulation that has not been since the world began, or will ever be again. So this abomination of desolation starts the great tribulation, and it happens within the last 3.5 years of the final signing of the peace treaty. In 3.5 years, the Prince who is to come stands up, says that he's God. It starts the great tribulation period of 3.5 years or 42 months or whatever. So then, in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, it says, I beseech you, brethren, concerning the day of the Lord, and when we're going to be gathered unto him, don't let any man deceive you, because that day can't come until there be a great falling away and the man of sin be revealed, who opposes himself and exalts himself above God. So this is the abomination of desolation again that Paul took and just wrote it in chapter 2 of 2 Thessalonians. So we see that. So this is what we have to look forward to. Let me read to you in Daniel chapter 9, the prince who is to come. It says, then the people of the prince who is to come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. That's the people. They destroyed the sanctuary in 70 AD. The end will come like a flood. Until the end there will be war, desolations, and that have been decreed. Then it says, and he, who we're talking about, the subject of the thing is the prince who is to come, will confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. But in the middle of the week he will put an end to sacrifice and offering. And on the wings of the temple will come the abomination that causes desolation, until the decreed destruction is poured upon him. So we see that in Daniel chapter 9. And here's the thing that may allow. Right now, the agreement, the Abraham Accord, has an agreement that they're going to share holy sites. So all three faiths can go up to the Temple Mount. That's where Jewish holy site, and that's also where the Temple Mount is where the Dome of the Rock, the Islamic mosque, is. That is supposed to be occupying the space where the temple is. But anyhow, it's supposed to be a sharing of all religious sites: Christianity, Muslim, and Jewish. The three religions descending from Abraham. All have Abraham as their father. So there'll be exchange. So it possibly could be some kind of arrangement where the Jewish people could build a temple. Now, some architects and some engineers, Jewish engineers, have said that the temple really doesn't have to go right there where the Dome of the Rock is. This is theorized. This has been projected by some authorities. They said it's off to the right of it or left of it. I can't remember exactly, but it can be built. Well, in Revelation chapter 11, John is given a measuring reed, and he's told to measure the temple, measure and count the people in it. Count the people in it. But he's also told, do not measure the outer court. We see the Jewish temple has three different phases to it, three different areas. The first is the outer court, or the Gentiles' court. The second is the holy place, or the inner court, and the third is the Holy of Holies. And there's a lot written about that, but he says, the angel tells John, says, do not, he said, measure everything, but do not, and count the number of people, but do not measure the outer court, for it will be trodden down by the Gentiles for 42 months. Well, 42 months is the terminology. It's 3.5 years, and it's the terminology that places this right at the end of this great tribulation period of 3.5 years. So it's going to be trodden down to the Gentiles. But we can see that when this treaty is confirmed by the prince who is to come, then the outer court will be trodden down with the Gentiles. It means there'll be the Christian religion to be able to go, the Muslim religion to be able to go. Gentiles is everything other than Jewish will be able to go up to the holy place, and it puts the timeline right at the end. Well, I hope I would let you understand this a little bit more. I find it much better if I speak to you directly and not try to read to you from my notes. I find that it's better if I just quote the scriptures, and if I leave something out, then I'll make another video and come and tell you about it. But I do believe that this Abrahamic Accord is not the final one. I believe that Trump is not trying to divide the land, for he knows that Palestine will not accept it. I mean, he's smarter than they are. He knows they are not going to accept this peace treaty, but he can get good relations with Saudi Arabia, and he's already established good relationship with Saudi Arabia, and he can get these other little countries who are favorable to him, and we can have some peace in the land, and I believe this is something that he and his son-in-law Jared Kushner have made. So it's the original peace treaty, but there was another one back in 1990 something that was also called the Abrahamic Accord, but I don't know for sure. I'm going to get clarity on it, and I'll teach you on that. But I don't believe Trump is. I believe he's from God. I believe God put him in there to make Jerusalem. He made Jerusalem the capital of Israel, and Jerusalem has to be the capital of Israel in order for the end times to come. And it hadn't been the capital of Israel for 2,000 years, so he did do that. They also put his his name on a coin there in Israel. So he has a lot of favor with Israel because he supported them, and I believe all the prophecy that he was selected from God and he's God the man, you know. So I believe there will be another man who will come. He will be a prince, and I believe that he will make the covenant stronger, and he will confirm the covenant with many, and he will be the Antichrist. I believe that after 3.5 years of signing the deal, this one that will come will stand up and say, "Hey, I am God. I'm above everything." Well, that's an abomination to God. That's the abomination of desolation. Before there was Antiochus Epiphanes, way back there, and I don't know, hundreds of years ago, who sacrificed a pig on the altar, but that's not the abomination. He didn't say, "I am God." He desecrated the temple, but this man will say, "I am above everything that is called God," and when he does that, it'll plunge the world into the last 3.5 years of the tribulation period. So we see a lot of things happening right now in the world, things that I never thought I'd see in my lifetime, but we're witnessing a lot of things, and we want to stay abreast on these peace treaties. So I hope I've given you a little bit of understanding on this. So until next time, this is James Stockstill saying, I want you to keep looking for the handwriting on the wall. Thank you.